In a bustling open-air market in northern Mexico, a vendor slices open a bright red chili pepper and hands it to a curious traveler. The traveler hesitates, laughs nervously, and takes a bite. Seconds later, their face changes. The eyes widen. The breath quickens. A wave of heat blooms across their tongue, as if a furnace has been switched on inside their mouth. The vendor smiles knowingly. This small red pod has just performed one of the most extraordinary sensory illusions in nature. For thousands of years, humans have described chilies in the language of fire. They burn, scorch, sear, and ignite. Entire cuisines are built around this sensation. Indian vindaloo, Thai som tom, and Mexican salsa roja. On every continent, from West Africa to Korea, chili peppers have woven themselves into cultural identity, medicine, ritual, and even mythology. But here is the strange truth. Chili peppers contain no real heat, no fire, no rising temperature. What they unleash inside the human body is not thermal energy, but a biochemical signal, a molecular trick so convincing that your brain reacts as if you've touched a hot stove. This is not simply a story about spicy food. This is a story about hidden energy, the invisible forces at the intersection of chemistry, biology, evolution, and culture that come together in the moment that chili heat hits your tongue. It's a story about a plant that weaponized sensation, and about humans who fell in love with that weapon. To understand this burning without heat, we need to enter the molecular world inside the chili pepper. This is where one compound in particular has shaped human culinary history more than almost any other: capsaicin. Please keep watching as we go deeper. Chemical composition. If you were to shrink down to the scale of atoms and enter a chili pepper's inner world, you'd find yourself in a landscape of plant cells packed with pigments, oils, and flavor compounds. But nestled deep within the whitish interior membranes, the placenta of the pepper, is where the real firepower lies. Here, the plant manufactures a family of chemical compounds known as capsaicinoids. There are more than 20 naturally occurring capsaicinoids, but one dominates: capsaicin, which accounts for about 70 to 90% of the pepper's total sting. Chemically, capsaicin is a hydrophobic alkaloid, meaning it dissolves in fats and oils rather than water. Its molecular structure is long and flexible, consisting of a benzene ring on one end, a tail-like hydrocarbon chain on the other, and an amide group that bridges them. This shape is not random. Every part of the molecule helps it lock perfectly into receptors in human nerve cells. Capsaicin has no flavor of its own. It has no odor. If you were to hold solid, pure capsaicin in your hand, it wouldn't feel warm. But once it touches the tissues of your mouth, skin, or eyes, even at concentrations as small as a few parts per million, it unleashes an intense burning sensation. Why? Because this molecule fits into the sensory machinery of your nervous system like a key sliding into a lock. Before we get to that, though, let's clear up one common misconception. Chili peppers are not hot in the thermal sense. Their burning effect does not come from actual temperature. It comes from the illusion of temperature, an illusion so powerful your brain responds as if you've touched a hot stove. And capsaicin is the molecule behind that illusion. Capsaicin does not burn your mouth. It convinces your brain that you are burning. This hidden energy behind chili heat is the energy of biological communication, the firing of nerve cells, the adaptation of receptors, the metabolic ripple of the body reacting to a perceived threat. And ultimately, it is the cultural energy of human beings who took this defense mechanism and transformed it into one of the most beloved sensations in global cuisine. Biological mechanism. To grasp what happens when capsaicin enters your mouth, imagine your sensory system as a vast surveillance network. Millions of nerve endings lie beneath your skin, in your tongue and your throat. Their job is to detect threats, sharp objects, chemical irritants, and, most importantly, heat. At the heart of your ability to sense heat is a receptor known as TRVP1, transient receptor potential vanilloid 1. You can think of TRVP1 as a molecular alarm switch embedded in nerve cell membranes. It normally activates when the tissue reaches temperatures above 42 degrees Celsius, about 107 degrees Fahrenheit, a potentially dangerous level. But evolution left a loophole in this system. Some molecules found in nature are similar enough in shape to the triggers of that receptor that they can activate the alarm without any heat at all. Capsaicin just happens to be one of the most effective of those molecules. When capsaicin reaches the nerve endings in your mouth, it binds to TRVP1 receptors and flips them open. This allows positively charged ions, especially calcium and sodium, to flood into the nerve cell. The cell fires an electrical signal up your trigeminal nerve, racing toward your brain. Your brain interprets the signal exactly as it would if your mouth had literally touched something hot. There is no difference, no backup system, no special chili pepper exception code. Your brain simply announces, "We are burning." This sets off a cascade of physical responses: salivation, sweating, rapid breathing, tearing eyes, increased heart rate, and even the release of endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. One of the most fascinating aspects of TRVP1 is that it is not just a receptor, it is a dynamic system that can desensitize over time. This explains why people who regularly eat spicy food develop a higher tolerance. Chronic exposure to capsaicin causes the TRVP1 receptors to become less responsive. Pain fibers become depleted of neuropeptides. The nervous system literally rewires itself. In other words, you can train your nervous system to experience less pain. This plasticity is one reason capsaicin has become a powerful tool in modern medicine, but we'll get to that later. For now, let's turn to a deeper question. If no heat is produced, why do we describe the sensation as energy? And is there any literal biochemical energy involved? Energy perspective. The hidden energy behind burning chili peppers is more than a poetic metaphor. It reflects a fascinating scientific paradox. Chili peppers cause the sensation of heat without generating thermal energy. So where does the energy come from? Sensory energy, not thermal energy. TRVP1 receptors convert the binding of capsaicin into electrical signals. These electrical impulses are tiny bursts of bioenergy, action potentials, traveling along nerve fibers. Your brain interprets these signals as heat because that's the only context in which TRVP1 normally fires. So the energy is neurological, not physical. You are not being burned. Your brain is being tricked. Interestingly, spicy foods can cause a small warming effect in the body, but after you eat them. This is because capsaicin stimulates thermogenesis, an increase in heat production in brown fat cells. It also activates the sympathetic nervous system, which raises metabolic rate. Capsaicin triggers catecholamine release, such as adrenaline. This does generate real heat, but it's produced by your own body, not the chili. Some cultural beliefs treat chili heat as if it were an inherent energy stored inside the pepper. But chemically speaking, capsaicin does not contain heat energy. It contains potential energy, like any organic molecule, but the burning sensation is not caused by its caloric value. A gram of capsaicin contains calories, just like any fat-like molecule, but those calories play almost no role in the sensation. So the hidden energy behind chilly heat is the energy of nerve signals, the metabolic energy your body produces in reaction, and the evolutionary energy the plant invests in making capsaicin. And that brings us to one of the most fascinating chapters in the pepper's story: why the chili plant evolved this fiery defense in the first place. Evolutionary role. Capsaicin didn't evolve to entertain human taste buds, it evolved as a defense mechanism. In the natural world, plants cannot run away from herbivores, they must defend themselves chemically. Capsaicin is bitter and irritating to many mammals, causing burning sensations that discourage them from eating the fruit. Birds, however, do not have TRV1 receptors sensitive to capsaicin. This gives chili plants an evolutionary advantage. Mammals avoid eating the seeds, while birds, the perfect seed dispersers, carry them across the landscape. In essence, capsaicin is a chemical language. Stay away if you are a mammal, come closer if you are a bird. Plants invest metabolic energy to produce capsaicin because it increases the likelihood that their seeds will survive and spread. Interestingly, the intensity of capsaicin varies by species, environment, and even pest pressure. Peppers grown in hotter climates or under stress often produce more capsaicin. This plasticity in capsaicin production is a remarkable example of chemical ecology in action. In this way, the chili pepper's fiery chemistry is not a culinary accident. It is a story millions of years in the making. Its molecules are the legacy of selective pressures, herbivore interactions, and environmental challenges. And when humans arrived on the scene, they were met with a plant that had already perfected the art of sensory persuasion. The evolutionary story explains why chili heat is so consistent and potent. It is a product of millions of years of chemical negotiation between plant and animal. And it also hints at why humans, against evolutionary odds, fell in love with it. Health effects. Capsaicin doesn't just create a burning sensation, it has measurable effects on the human body. One of the most studied effects is its impact on metabolism. Capsaicin stimulates thermogenesis, the process by which cells generate heat by burning energy. This leads to a temporary increase in metabolic rate, which may contribute to weight management. Capsaicin also plays a role in pain modulation. Topical capsaicin creams are used to treat neuropathic pain, arthritis, and other chronic pain conditions. The mechanism is the same. TRVP1 receptors become desensitized after repeated stimulation. This is why people who consume spicy foods regularly often report reduced sensitivity to pain. Beyond metabolism and pain, capsaicin influences cardiovascular health. It may improve circulation, lower blood pressure, and reduce inflammation. Capsaicin also has antimicrobial properties, which may have influenced its historical use in food preservation. Even cancer research has explored capsaicin's potential, showing selective effects on cancerous cells in lab studies. Despite its potency, capsaicin is safe for most people when consumed in normal dietary amounts. However, very high doses can cause irritation, nausea, or GI discomfort. This duality, the pleasure of heat and the warning of pain, is central to why humans are fascinated by chili peppers. It is a chemical thrill ride, intense, immediate, and deeply rooted in our physiology. Culinary and cultural aspects. Beyond biology, chili peppers have profoundly shaped human culture and cuisine. From the fiery curries of India to the spicy salsas of Mexico, humans have embraced chili heat in every corner of the world. Culinary traditions often highlight the balance between flavor, aroma, and perceived heat. Humans have learned to pair chili heat with cooling elements like dairy, rice, or coconut milk to modulate the burn. Interestingly, some cultures use chili as a social and ritual tool, signaling courage, endurance, or festive celebration. Eating chili can trigger endorphin release, producing mild euphoria, a chemical reward system that reinforces enjoyment. This combination of challenge and pleasure is central to why humans seek out ever spicier foods. Different regions have adapted local peppers to their cuisine, creating a rich tapestry of flavors and heat levels. In some cultures, chili is also medicinal, used to stimulate digestion or alleviate colds and congestion. Ultimately, the human fascination with chili peppers is a dialogue between culture, biology, and chemistry. We have learned to love what initially was a defensive warning, turning a plant's chemical armor into a source of joy, flavor, and even communal identity. In the process, chili peppers have become a symbol of resilience, adventure, and sensory exploration. From the fiery molecules within its placenta to the neural signals racing to your brain, the chili pepper is a masterclass in chemistry and biology. It is a tiny fruit packed with chemical ingenuity, evolutionary strategy, and sensory thrill. It teaches us that what we perceive as heat is really a complex dialogue between molecules, receptors, nerves, metabolism, and culture. Understanding this hidden energy changes how we experience chili, from a simple spice to a living story of biology and human fascination. So the next time you bite into a hot chili, remember, it is more than flavor. It is chemistry, evolution, physiology, and culture, all converging in a fiery moment of sensory wonder. If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden energy of chili peppers, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And let us know in the comments, what is the spiciest chili you've dared to try? Join us as we continue to explore the fascinating chemistry, biology, and culture behind the foods we love.